Hello, hello. Today is day 40 of 365 days of my raw suspending disbelief journey. Um, it is or was, I'm doing this a day late. June words, Brianna. June 1st. This was June 1st. Um, I actually had a very busy day. Um, the day after my last episode yesterday. And it wasn't busy like with business, with anything like that. It was busy with life. So over the last week and up until tomorrow, so I have two kids with birthdays within 6 days of each other. So they're always like less than a week apart. It's always a crazy week. And on top of that, it seems to be the time of year when everybody's kids have birthdays, or maybe they just like put off their winter birthdays until the warm air comes, like I don't know. But so we had it was my daughter's birthday on Tuesday, my son's birthday is tomorrow, which is Monday, and then I have or this weekend we had two birthday parties for two other kids. So not even my kids' birthday parties. I still have to get those scheduled. My kids didn't know what they wanted to do. I've been trying to get it out of them for weeks. So anyway, um, so we had okay, Saturday. Saturday was we had a birthday party. My oldest had a sleepover. We just had lots going on. We planted our tomatoes, and just did some yard work and things like this. So it was a great day. We went to the park. We did, it was just busy, busy with the kids and a really nice day. It was hot out. It was gorgeous. And let's see, through the perspective of suspending disbelief and of my success being inevitable, my success being here, and always being exactly where I should be, I had just made the biggest sale of my life and the best sales day I'd ever had, the day before. And there's a little bit of follow-up work that I need to do. Um, And I think in the past, I always would have been like, everything else needs to be on hold. Somebody just paid me money. I need to, you know, do all of the things and make sure everything is going to be perfect forever and ever and ever for this person. And I probably would have worked all day. The kids would have played on their screens or gone outside in the backyard or whatever. We wouldn't have made it to the park. I may have taken my son to the birthday party and dropped him off and left and worked some more, like that would have been kind of my energy before and probably been like, no, I can't pick up your friend to my daughter, to be like, I don't need to have an extra kid here. I don't want it to be louder, etc., etc., etc. So, um, the trust in always being exactly where I should be, I think is the biggest takeaway from yesterday's energy for me, where I am, and yesterday as in Saturday, sorry. Maybe I should just say today as if I'm talking yesterday. Um, anyway, so very much this is leaning into feeling what I want to create, right? This is choosing to be doing the things that feel amazing and choosing um to trust, to know that I'm going to get those things done, that it doesn't need to be on Saturday when my kids are home and it's gorgeous outside, that it doesn't need to take over the opportunities for my kids to have connections with their friends, whether it's at a birthday party or a sleepover or whatever. Um, that me being present in those energies, me being present with my littlest one who was sad not to be invited to this birthday party for my son's classmate. um, so we went to the park together and did all of these things. I could have and maybe even would have been justified in working. And I chose to instead trust that that can sit, that can wait, I don't have to work all weekend every weekend. I don't have to ignore my children on the days that I have them home with me. The setup that we have going right now with my ex is that he has the two younger ones 2 out of 3 weeks on the weekend. So, or for part of the weekend anyway. He works a weird shift. So he works till Saturday. I have them Saturday and then they go Sunday 2 out of the 3 weeks and then they're gone on Monday and come back on Tuesday. Anyways, it's my weekend with them. I have all weekend and I many, many times in the past have chosen to work one of the 2 days that they're here. Um, because I always feel like there's just so much to do with work and because I also love what I do for work. And so it's very, very tempting for me to sit and work. Like I really love to work. So like on what I'm working on. And so it's tempting to be like, you guys go play and do your thing and I'm going to do my thing because this is my fun, right? But in all reality, I actually really enjoy spending time with my kids as well. I enjoy playing with my daughter at the park. I enjoy seeing my son totally lit up at a birthday party. I enjoy my daughter and her friends when they come here and they're absolute goofballs and obnoxious and whatever. Like I enjoy all of it. And um but very often I get caught up in that you could call it lack mindset or you could call it like it's like the corporate mindset where work has to be first, work before play, right? And that is how I was raised, work before play. And if you don't get your work done, you don't get to play. Or if you don't get your chores done, you don't get to play. If you don't get your homework done, you don't get to play, right? That's how I was raised. And that is not the life I'm choosing for myself or for my children. Play is important. And I believe that with my entire being. So choosing to play instead of work because working for myself, there is literally endless work that I could do. There is never going to be an end to it because work includes creating new things, right? So I am just it's always there. It's always available and I get to choose when I stop. I get to choose when I start and when I stop. And I could put all of my time into it or I can choose to put a smaller portion of my time into it and spend a lot of time on play. Um and then also when I'm working, be enjoying it as though it's play in and of itself. So I get to have all of those really positive feelings in every area of my life. I get to play with my kids before they're too old for that. I get to laugh with my oldest and her friends and just laugh at them and with them and whatever. I get to have fun. I get to play and I get to shut off work on the weekend or during the week if that's what I prefer, right? If I want to have days off during the week with my kids and work on the weekend when they're gone, then I do that. And that's okay. And that is me being exactly where I should be, right? We're always exactly where we should be. So my success is already here and I get to play. I get to go take my son to a birthday party, take my daughter to the park, go pick up my other daughter's friend and bring them over for a sleepover, see my daughter and her boyfriend and her friend hanging out and goofing off and being absolutely ridiculous. I get to be exhausted by the end of the day by all of the energy spent. I get to grow my own garden and I mean to an extent it's not as big as the one I used to have, but I am able to still grow my own food at least a little bit. I'm able to um sleep in, go pick up a birthday present last minute, all of the things. And it's just fine. And it's the way that I want to live my life. And it's the way that feels amazing for me. And I'm so, so grateful that I get to do it. Right. Um, and that now I'm really starting to finally understand that I get to do it and be successful. That I get to, I mean, but for me, being successful, that is a big part of it, is having those feelings of freedom with my time and with my children, right? So, in that sense of success, I was already there. I've already chosen that lifestyle. financially, I haven't felt successful over the last couple of years since I left my husband because I haven't been bringing in a certain amount of dollars, right? So financially, it's been a struggle, even though I know that my business is still successful. I'm still helping people. I'm still serving clients. I'm still all of these things. It's just been like, not making enough, right? And that is a judgment of my business that didn't need to be there necessarily. But it does feel good to be increasing the amount that's coming in. That does not mean that I have to work more or that I have to put more time or effort into my business in order to maintain the success that I'm having. Though I got to this without working 24/7. Therefore, I don't have to keep on working 24/7 to maintain it. And it's just these realizations of past mindset that are coming in that I feel like are really important. That I get to, and I trust myself to have fun with my children when that's what's the priority, and then be able to work when it's not, and have that be enough time to accomplish the things that I need and want to accomplish in my business in order to have the financial success that I desire through my business. So just feel like I just talked in circles a little bit, but hopefully it made sense. Um, yeah, so we enjoyed our day. It was gorgeous out. My daughter got all beat up climbing, or she wiped out on her bike. She was crazy, whatever, all of these things. Um, the older kids were climbing on the garage roof and hanging out up there and being crazy. And, it brought to my awareness the freedom that I was able to give my children by leaving my ex. Because this was something that, as a kid growing up, I mean, me and my brothers were crazy, I will give it that, but we had a trampoline in the backyard. We would be jumping off the shed roof, or we would be, doing all these things onto the trampoline, and, whatever. It was fun, it was wild, and it was free. As a child, whether teens or younger, it doesn't really matter. Um, we were free to have that kind of fun and just be creative about how we played and how we did things. And it didn't matter if they were a little bit dangerous. Maybe it gave my mom a heart attack a time or two, but it was like we got to be free like that and not be, um, number one, punished for it. Number two, made to feel stupid for it. Right. And that's a big thing. So, um, one thing with my ex was the super overprotective kind of attitude with children, where it's like, "You don't move because you're going to get hurt," right? Everything was like, "No, that's too dangerous. Stop, get down, move over, do this, do that," where it was like, just stop, and like super controlling their play. And for me, it felt so wrong. And we fought over it a lot, right? It was like I would stand up for it and be like, "Dude, like chill, they're fine. Even if they get hurt, it's not the end of the world." Like, that's part of being a kid, that's part of growing up, that's part of learning to move their bodies, all of this stuff. And we would argue and argue and argue about it. And so yesterday, with the kids climbing on the roof of, or sorry, so Saturday, um, the kids climbing on the roof of the garage, including my 7-year-old son, okay, because he had to follow his big sister up there and whatever. And I was like, you know what? And she was being protective because she was raised, most of her, the first decade of her life was with my ex, where it was like, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, and no freedom with play, and no creative freedom with how do we have fun, right? And so she was like, "No, you can't come up here. You're too little. You're too this. You're too that." And he was all upset and came in and was like, "They said I can't go on the roof." And I was like, "Why?" And because for me, it was just like, the rule for me has always been, and it always was with my oldest too, if you can climb it, you can be up there. But I'm not going to put you up there if you can't make it up yourself, because that means that you're not big enough to be up there. So, like, my youngest was very upset all evening. She was like, "I want to go up there too. I want to go up there too." And I'm like, "No, you can't climb up there yourself yet. You're too small. That's just the rules. When you get old enough and big enough to climb up there yourself, then you'll be allowed." And I stuck to that, right? I'm not going to put her up there because she's insanely clumsy, just like her mother, and would be falling off, right? Like, but her brother was old enough and creative enough. It was very dangerous. He put a stool on top of a table like whatever to get up there, but he was the one that came up with it. He figured it out for himself and he got up there, and I told him that if he was able to do it, he was allowed. So he did it. And I was like, "Okay, just be careful." Like, and some people might think that that's too lax in it from a parenting standpoint, but for me, I'm like, if you are creative enough to come up with a solution for a problem, then who am I to say that that solution isn't good enough, that it's not right, or that it's, bad or whatever. And he was saying things like, we should not tell Dada about this because Dada would be mad. And I'm like, no, that's not like, I'm not going to do parenting like that. I don't do hiding things from your parents. So it's fine. Like, I sent him pictures of it. He didn't even acknowledge it. I guarantee you that in his head, he was like, what the fuck? So dangerous, whatever, all of these things. But I wasn't going to keep it a secret. And I told my son, he's got pictures of it. He knows it happened. Like, it's fine. And he won't give my son trouble for that after the fact, right? It would be in the moment that he would have to take away the fun. He would have to make it a fight, make it a struggle, make it a sucky experience. And just take the fun out of that moment. So my son being able to have that fun and do that without the negative commentary, without the like, you're in danger and everything is too risky and get down, and like, don't you dare climb up anything other than a ladder, or like something more stable. Like, it just, I personally believe it's too restrictive, and I really loved being able to just sit there and watch and laugh and be a little bit scared that they might fall, but also like super, super overjoyed that my children were getting to explore their physical creative bounds, and it is funny because my oldest, her friend was the one that started going up on the roof in the first place and likes to climb and whatever. But then she was also like, what if your mom sees us? And my daughter was going, my mom's not going to care. My mom's not going to care. And my mom's going to be fine with it. My mom's going to be fine with it. And she has never randomly climbed up on the roof to just hang out on the roof. But she was like, yeah, we can do this. It's fine. Right. And I love knowing that my kids know that they don't need to hide from me. That's a huge thing for me, is like, the more you say no to everything that your kids do, the more they're going to hide it from you. And we had the freedom, like with our physical, like climbing things and whatever as children, but we had so many restrictions put on us where it was like, no, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. And we did it all, right? Of course we did, but we hid it instead of being honest. So I've tried to create this, like, no, you don't need to hide from your parents thing, which is also why I shared with their dad, right? That, that they were doing this, because I was like, no, we're not going to make this a thing where you hide from your parents. Even if we don't like his reactions, we're still going to be honest and share and all of these things. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent, but it was just some awareness that came in, right? That I have created the experiences that I want to have. I chose to leave so that my children and I could have the experiences during their years growing up that I wanted to have and that I wanted them to be able to have. And so again, with the success, not in the financial aspect, in the how I want my life to be in, and how I want my children's lives to be, and how I want us to get to feel and interact with one another. I have created that. I trust myself to create the experiences I want to have because I have always done that. I have always created the experiences that I want to have. I have always done what needed to be done, even if it took a really long time with my ex, right? For me to leave. It was still, I ended up like, enough is enough. I am going to make it happen, that I have the experiences that I want to have. And I'm not going to allow my life and my children's lives to be ruled over by someone who wants to do this in a completely different way and be controlling and do, negative and cruel and whatever, all of these things. And it was just, yeah, it was really great awareness of there's so many layers to this challenge, to suspending disbelief of in I had to suspend disbelief back then to leave my husband, that I was going to be able to afford everything, that I was going to be able to support my three children, that I was going to be able to keep a roof over our heads and food on the table and all of these things. And I really struggled with that at first, right? It was hard. But I have always somehow, one way or another, created the experiences that I want to have. And so there is no reason to doubt that I will be able to create the experiences I want to have in the future as well. Um, Hopefully I'm making sense here, but it just, every time I notice something like that, it's like, right. Yeah, I did. I did create this. I did get us to the point where we get to, live life like this. Um, I did trust in myself being exactly where I needed to be so that I could create this outcome. So, of course, I am always going to be able to trust that I'm exactly where I need to be and that I'm creating the outcomes that I want in the future as well. It just, reflecting back is so important. And then being really present in the moment to be aware of, I'm already successful in this way. I'm already enjoying things in this way. I'm already living the life I want to live in this way. Could I do it with more money and enjoy that too? Absolutely. But I love my life. I love my life so much. And I love the day to day interactions with my children. And I love the freedom I've been able to engender in our lives over the last couple of years. Whether we've struggled financially or not, we're happy, right? And that matters so much more. And so yeah, I wanted to share that as well. Um, and yeah, I'm just really grateful that I'm able to teach my children this mindset through example from their early years, right? So, yeah, I think that is all for today. But thank you for listening, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.